appreciate it. I'm just reviewing this car and trying not to speed too much, you know.
Sounds good to me.
Have a good day. Thank you.
I sure hope I don't let him down.
The suspension adjusts itself. Holy shit. Stupid deer. I just rented a 2011 BMW X5M and was absolutely blown away by its performance and character. 10 years after its debut, this car can still hold its own against the quickest cars of 2019. The E70 X5 is succeeded by the F85, and despite its improved gearbox, the looks and feel of the E70 should keep it as the all-time high watermark for performance SUVs. I used to suspect, and have now confirmed, this X5M may be the greatest all-around people mover ever built. Bravo, BMW. Now let's take this ill-maintained and misfiring example for a drive. Here I am. Enough talk. I'll get this thing going up the canyon here, and I'm going to take it on my favorite driving road, Little Cottonwood Canyon, and see how it does. It should be unbelievable. Thank you. You can't expect a BMW to be perfect. Whoa, two-stroke on the street. Sweet. This thing, oh my god. Oh, it almost stalled. Anywho, a lot of distractions. Alright, so focusing on the actual car, the slightly taller ride height than my Juke Nismo is great, and considering it handles even better, that's amazing. I just went over a really big dip in the road where I slow down with the Juke, because even with my Juke you could scrape on there, but this thing would never scrape. It's pretty darn high off the ground. Although someone has managed to scrape it, probably on a bunch of driveways in California. This is a California car, so yeah, people scrape things out there a lot. I've got it in auto mode right now. I guess I'll get out of that. No reason to mess around with that. The heads-up display in this car is very nice. Forgot I'll put it in M mode there. There we go. It definitely makes a big difference. Oh yeah, I can hear it. Oh wow, the shifts are wonderful in M mode. It gives you a good little jolt. The ZF8 speed is definitely a better transmission overall. I mean, let's face it. But this 6-speed here, I actually don't know if it's ZF or who makes it, but it's really, really good. And it can hold a lot of power, as we see, and it's very reliable. With all the things that can go wrong with this car, the transmission is not usually one of them. People say that's just usually not an issue, and it's fine. So that's a wonderful thing. And considering the engine is acting up today, it's a good thing the transmission is at least hanging in there. Yeah, this is typical. I want to say typical 5 Series awesomeness. An X5 is just a 5 Series that's jacked up and whatnot. But here we go. Here we go. Pretty good. When I rented an F10 M5, it had the aftermarket intakes on it, and they made really cool noises. I kind of missed that. If I bought one of these, the first mod I would do would be intakes, then probably exhaust resonator or something. It makes some exhaust noise, but it's quiet. I like a pretty quiet car. I think I would start with intakes, then go on from there. Oh, here's a cop. What do you know? Hello, sir. Well, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous day up in the canyon. Well, outside temperature 37, it's telling me. Okay, good. It tells me on the heads-up display, too. It gives me warnings up there. That's really nice. This is definitely one of the best cars ever. I'm already going to say this is the best car for the money you can buy. You can get this thing, especially running badly as it is right now, you could get this thing for like 14 grand. No joke. 15 grand all day. It's got 87,000 miles on it. I'm gonna hit 88,000 miles with it today on this drive. Oh shoot, I went the wrong way. Oh well. This thing makes 500 foot-pounds of torque from 1500 RPM onwards, so it's great. This car feels amazing. It's like a taller 5 Series. The steering wheel is perfection. Yeah, it is. It's a great wheel. The leather feels really nice. It's just perfectly thick. Awesome stitching. The M stitching, which we all love. Alright, here we go. So I pulled out from right here in a Tesla about a month and a half ago, and it was insane. Let's see how this thing does. Wow! That was awesome. Wow, you can really feel the rear-wheel drive bias. It feels rear-wheel drive. Wow. And it's easier not to speed in this because you hook up in the first couple gears pretty well. But it definitely spun quite a bit, more than I was thinking. The power of this thing is amazing. And for a car that's like 10 years old, for technology that's 10 years old, it's just wonderful. BMW is the best. This car weighs about 5,300 pounds dry, and and that's not that much weight. Can't complain about it. And it feels great. All I can say. Crossovers, modern crossovers are a wonderful thing, and this being 10 years old is all the more impressive. A lot of people say that they like this E70 X5M better than the F85 X5M, the newer one. And I haven't driven one of those, obviously, but that one is larger and heavier and whatever, and I don't think it's as good looking. Some people think it looks better, but I like the looks of this one a lot more. The E70 is a great looking car, especially the M version. It's wonderful. Incredible. Yep, no disappointments with this car. It basically breaks the rear tires loose right into the turn and then pulls you right out of it. It's so good. For a second I was thinking the M5 was more fun, more enjoyable for me, but the more I drive this, I am liking it better than the F10 M5. It's just so much easier, and the 6-speed gearbox in this is so good. Yeah, it's amazing. I don't even miss the dual clutch. And you have no drawbacks of the dual clutch, you know. Alright, well, second gear, pull. Sweet. It's not smoking, so that's good. Probably doesn't need turbos or injectors or anything. Yep, its willingness to rotate and the amazingly quick shifts. This thing is just about perfect. The amount of money you can get one of these for is laughable. I paid like the same for my Juke off of lease. That thing stinks compared to this. No, I can't speak ill of the Juke, but this thing is undoubtedly the best car for the money you can possibly get. I was saying that 5 years ago when they were 25 grand, and now they're 15 grand, and I'm just dying to get one. But it's good. This reality check that they don't always run well is good for me to see. Yeah, third gear is wonderful, but second gear is really rowdy. Wow. Yeah, it starts to like break traction as you get into the power band in second gear. It's so great. Yeah, it's like a big four-wheeler. It is just so powerful. Yep, it's safe to say I like it better than an M5 because I'm just driving along with traffic in front of me and I can actually enjoy the S63 and its monstrous power because I have all-wheel drive and and this car is even less noticeable than an M5 or anything else. Here we go. Maybe I can make a little pass here. Or is this moron going to screw me over? Come on. Well, there might be a cop up here anyway, so it's all good. cops up here. Wow. Yeah, tires are definitely not gripping too well. Gotta be careful up here. Unreal. This is just the best car. I love a good crossover with a bunch of horsepower, and this is just exactly that. And with a tune, this has as much power as a Trackhawk. You can easily get these above 700 horsepower with just a tune and whatever. Amazing. Definitely enough power to get yourself in trouble quickly if you're not careful. Just doing okay. Here's an X5. Sorry, hope that wasn't rude. Wow, it's looking awesome up here. You can see that. Second gear, first gear. It's a little slow to spool up. I feel like a tune would really wake this thing up. I know it would, because the M5 I drove was tuned and it was a monster. So, yeah, if I got one of these, I would just get the cheapest tune and an intake and modify the exhaust myself, and it would be unbelievable. That's all it would need. It would have a ton of horsepower and everything. I think it just chirped a tire going into second gear. Pretty nice. Woo! Look at this view. Whoa, that was weird. It lurched forward and then caught itself. Huh. You know, I tried to set the parking brake. Oh, you press it down. What the? This car's crazy. It's gonna roll down the hill if I leave it right here, I bet. Shoot. Better not. Stupid thing. Don't you dare. Man, BMWs are funny. They do everything almost right. It's funny, when I drove the F10 M5, it stalled, actually, too. All these S63 powered cars, they're a little bit sketchy, but they make ridiculous power, so it's my kind of engine. Yeah, the F10 M5 stalled right when I was just backing up from my box truck, doing a cold start, just getting up in the morning, and I put it into drive or something, and it just stalled. It was pretty funny. The old S63 B44 in its original form, stock, unmodified, and currently struggling with some issues. But nonetheless, it's putting out all of its 550 plus horsepower, and at least I believe it is, because it is fast as hell. Looks like it's got a coolant. Oh, is that coolant overflowing? Hopefully not. Well, it's got a little coolant leak or something, but it's all good. Seems like it has multiple problems. Seems like the PCV is messed up, and it's got a little coolant bubbling up over there, I think, but it's hanging in there, I guess. That's the S63 for you. That's what happens when you get a cheap BMW. So it finally stopped cooling itself. Seems to be hanging in there. I don't think I'm gonna end its life today, me or my friend's shenanigans. Friendly police officer just stopped and made sure I was all good. This has the dual hood latches. I like that. Whew. Man, the V8 is just way in there and way down there. That's the old X5 formula. Just get that engine way in there and it'll handle amazingly. And it does. Look how pretty the lights are too. It's just a wonderful car. The fact that it has a lot of personality, aka reliability issues, It just makes me like it even more. So lots of room in the back seat here. You could definitely fit 5 in here all right. Just a very, very practical, nice vehicle. How's this little thing work? Oh, wow. Wow. I've always wondered about this. Pretty cool. Yeah, you could definitely sleep in the back of here. Not super comfortably, but I could sleep in here. I've done research. Why won't it close? Alright, well I was praising this little liftgate thing, but I can't figure it out at all. I gotta give it a little, just a little slam. There we go. And that thing's intelligent and won't close until that's closed. On a BMW, everything takes a little force, a little bit of slamming, a little bit of muscle. Alright, so here I am at Snowbird, looking good. And all I can really say about the E70 X5M, I suspected it would be one of the best cars ever, pretty much the overall best car ever, and I'm thinking I was correct on that, based on my drive up the canyon. It's an amazing vehicle. No one could possibly be disappointed with the handling of it, the dynamics, and the power, even in stock form, is very, very impressive. So I'm going to take this thing down the canyon again, and then over to Route 80 or whatever, and up to Park City, just on the other side of all this stuff. So I'm going to have my buddy Stuart drive it, and his wife Kaylee, and in case you're watching this video somehow, definitely tune in for those as well. Alright, so down the canyon I go. Alright, so the owner asked that I please put the key in here on longer drives to charge itself, and I will do so. First gear, there we go. It makes a really satisfying little pop on the upshifts. It's great. The thing sounds wonderful. It's a different sounding experience than the F10 M5, because that definitely piped in fake noise. For all I know, this does too, but I don't think it does, because it just sounds different. It doesn't have that fake V10 noise that comes on at higher RPMs. Maybe I can cut in front of this machine. There we go. Yes, there we go. Hello. Sweet. Wow, what a day here. Wow. And people are, plenty of fresh lines, fresh tracks on the slopes over here. People are skiing Snowbird already. Good for them. I've got to say, I say this about every BMW, but I'm just instantly comfortable driving this car. It feels like this is my car and I've been driving it for years. Part of that is because I drove an E34 for several years, and this is basically the same 5 Series formula and the same proportions and stuff. But this car is just so easy to drive and so user-friendly, and the handling is just so confidence-inspiring, and everything is just so good. Everything's great. And the seats, by the way, are really good, very comfortable, and they have adjustable bolsters, which I haven't messed with yet. I should turn them up because they're not holding me right now, but they're adjustable, so that's all that matters. You have to be careful with this car. It picks up speed so quickly. It really does. Yeah! I told that cop I was going to try not to speed too much. I'm going to make good on that promise. Hopefully. What a beast. What a beast. It just feels so good. It's the perfect car. The brakes feel great. The pedal has very little dead travel to it. It's firm, but not too firm. It's not like the M5, which was way too firm. Although if you really get on them, yeah, they do stiffen up a lot. But this car is something like 15.5-inch rotors in the front, and yeah, the brakes are wonderful. The handling is just effortless. Steering feel is nice, better than most modern cars. This sort of isn't a modern car anymore, so it's great. Second gear. I have too much stuff in the car today, my bad. It's not restrained properly. The corner exits in this car are just unreal. The amount of grip is so cool, but it has the rear biased torque split, so it just feels very fun. This is such a good car. Old E70 X5M. When you're in M dynamic mode, the suspension adjusts itself. Holy shit! Stupid deer. Get out of here. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Sweet. That worked out. Stupid deer. Anywho. Good thing it wasn't nighttime. We better be careful with this thing later on. Here we go. I always forget about the heads-up display. There it is. Looking down at the speedometer like an idiot. Oh, actually, yeah, the brakes are really stiff when you actually need them. They're really, really stiff when you load them up. Feels good. They do their job. Yep, you can just leave it in third, even on these tight roads, and it just spools up within a half a second and pulls out of the corner like a whoo! Wow. Feels pretty similar to the Tesla power, the power levels of the Tesla Model 3 Performance that I most recently drove a month and a half ago. That thing would go from 40 to 70 just immediately, like I kept saying, and so does this. So one thing I have to say, major rocks in the road, wow. So one thing I have to say about this car, it does have a little front end looseness, something's going on. I don't think it's the rotors. It just needs some bushings in the front. I'm not sure which ones. Maybe tie rod ends or something. It probably needs a couple things. It's a BMW, and most likely it hasn't had its truly due maintenance over the years as far as the chassis. And clearly the engine's struggling too, but hanging in there. Yep, safe to say having all this power is addictive and amazing, and would make me really happy if I had it on a daily basis. And you can turn it up as much as you want with upgraded turbos, different tunes, downpipes, blah blah blah. You can really get more power out of these. But yeah, like I said, when I'm braking and turning, you feel a little something in the front end. But hey, it's a BMW. It needs a couple things. That's just how it goes. It's not too bad. It still feels fine, but not quite perfect. It's got 87,000 miles on it, and it's a 2011. So some rubber components are definitely worn out. I'm sure if someone gave this thing a legitimate pre-purchase inspection, multi-point inspection, they would find many little issues, but hey, it still gets down the road in spectacular fashion, so I'm not complaining, and I didn't pay too much to rent it, so I'm happy. I'm getting one squeak from the back when I hit decent sized bumps, but for all I know that could be some of my stuff, but it sounds like maybe a door or something, a seat noise. This car's got really nice stiff steering, typical X5, but not too stiff. just right. A little lighter than the M5, if anything. Maybe about the same. Feels great. If only it would idle. Hey, I'm here in the car. It's sweet, and I'm heading in your direction. All right, first gear.
Continue for 5 miles.
I can never figure out when it'll auto shift and when it won't. I guess whenever it's in sport mode, it just won't auto shift. So my bad, S63. Yeah, it's fast, but I can see where a tune would be. A tune would wake it up even more. It could use it. I mean, it doesn't need it, but it could use it. Yeah, it's pretty quiet in here, pretty nice. Things luxurious. Here's a little jump. Woo! Oh yeah. You gotta drive like a douchebag when you're in a BMW. Come on, especially an M model. I'm finally getting sort of used to the terrible turn signals, which most modern cars seem to have. The Tesla has the stupid turn signals. All BMWs have them. Getting used to it a little bit.
Use the right lane to take the I-215 North ramp, then merge onto I-215 North.
Woo! My bad. Wow. This thing gets out of the way. You know, I'm getting a little more wind noise than I expected, but whatever. And that front end looseness that I've talked about, the tie rods or whatever, you can definitely feel it on the highway quite a bit more, but still feels fine. Still feels good. You just really want to speed in this car. It's hard not to. Yeah, the torque in 6th gear is fantastic. Great passing power. And this thing soaks up bumps tremendously. Going over little road bumps at speed, you don't even know they're there. But yet it's stiff though, you know. It's stiff, but not too stiff. Air suspension works wonders is what I'm trying to say. Alright, here we go. In the canyon. Just ripping around in 5th, cutting through the traffic. And the power in 5th gear is amazing. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, this thing has Tesla-like power. You just have to be in the right gear. But even then, the turbo torque spools up and moves you whenever you want. It's so good. And with a good tune, this thing will be as fast as an M5. Just have traction at all times. And be more inconspicuous. This is just the ultimate vehicle. I knew it. I knew it would be good. This car smells good too. I love how a BMW smells. Just leather and goodness. It smells just right. I love it. I cannot wait to own one of these cars. I'm fully prepared to take on any problems it has. Shoot, I would buy this one for a good price and fix the issues. It looks good in black. Let's do a 3rd gear pull. Pretty good. Pretty good. It's not like the tuned F10 M5, but it's pretty damn good. It is all-wheel drive, big SUV, so it's all good. Yeah, the torque in 6th gear. Very adequate. So this isn't quite the highway roll racing monster that the M5s are, but it's more than adequate on the highway, and its performance off the highway makes up for this, absolutely.
What an incredible car.
Despite running slightly badly, it still returns an impressive 10.4 miles per gallon, about 1.5 better than the M5 I drove. Let's give this thing a SAM score and see how they compare. Category: Powertrain. Transmission. This torque converter auto has amazing response and durability. 9. Output. The S63 is an incredible beast, stock or modified. 9 out of 10. Personality. This is a now typical twin-turbo V8, but at least it doesn't seem to pipe in fake V10 noise like the M5. 6. Perceived reliability. There are a million potential issues, and some have suffered terribly, but tons of these are still on the road and running okay. 7. Category: Chassis. Capability. This car can pull 0.9 Gs in a turn and go off-roading. 9. Fun. Having this much power in a perfect handling crossover is sublime. 9. Safety. Though a very, very safe car, a design dating back about 15 years isn't perfect in a small offset frontal crash. 8. Driver inputs. Though nearly perfect, I'll never enjoy these damn turn signals. 9. Category: Value. Maintenance. The S63 has potential to be very costly, but if all goes well, it's fairly routine. 6. Cost of entry. I'm buying one of these as soon as I get my life organized. It's the cheapest and best car ever. 10. Long term. Being the best overall crossover ever made, it should eventually be treasured again. 9. Fit and finish. Only one squeak presented itself, though it did so loudly and consistently. 8 out of 10. Category: Styling. Innovation. The flared fenders and overall stance is ridiculously badass. The first real super SUV. 8. Longevity. This styling is fairly timeless. 8. Wow factor. While only special to enthusiasts, everyone will see that it's a super dope car. 5. Personality. This M-Spec E70 is absolutely charming in its own way, a perfect blend of classic and modern BMW. 8 out of 10. That all adds up to 128, 9 points better than the F10 M5. This is probably my favorite overall vehicle ever, and I truly applaud BMW for making it. Thank you and happy motoring.